Alright, so I don't think I'll ever really know why I got into Carnegie unless I see my admissions file, which I will probably by the end of my freshman year. But my guess is I made it really clear what I wanted. I was like, I want engineering and art. Here are my grades and extracurriculars. Here's my portfolio. And even in my portfolio, I made it really clear that here's how I was going to combine it. Because to be honest, with Carnegie Mellon, I did a lot of research. They care a lot about combining and interdisciplinary stuff. Like, it doesn't matter how different it is, there's always room to combine it. And that's honestly where the future of everything was going. Like with art, the future of art is going into media arts. You see it when you enter the MoMA and you see the big screen of like the moving parts. Like, art is going digital and a lot of things are going that way too. So you wanna be like, in your portfolio or your essays and stuff, you want to show that you are keeping in mind this like future aspect, showing that you're combining it at the same time, and both show that you have the skill set. Because I think the biggest thing is Carnegie Mellon makes it really clear in your application that you don't have to combine what you're going to end up doing in your portfolio. I just took the extra step because why not? But you have to show why you want to do it. What's the motivation for this? I feel like if you show them reasonable motivation in what you want to do in the end, I think you'll have a good shot. Media-wise, for my portfolio, I definitely had a lot of diversity in it. Obviously, I had like some, like, not basic, but more like, you have to have certain stuff in your portfolio. Like, you have to have the still life. But other than like, I only had one still life, but other than that, I really went off with like what I thought would be really cool for my portfolio. So in the beginning, when I started my portfolio, I really like illustration. I'm still debating if I want to do illustration as my major, but I would like it. So in the beginning, I did a lot of illustration using like Prismacolors, and I used a lot of graphite pencil. And from there, the New York Art Studio really helped me branch off into like doing painting, which I really hated painting in the beginning. They helped me come to like it. And then throughout the summer, last summer more specifically, I started branching into including electrical stuff into my portfolio. To like kind of explain what it is, I basically used like really rudimentary stuff like Arduinos and like pair cams and stuff, and included it into my portfolio to make it more interactive, almost like, what's the word for it, media arts kind of. And that's what I experimented with the majority of the summer, and then that's how I came to finish my portfolio. Alright, so I basically this summer, right after sophomore year, was kind of the year I was like, okay, we're gonna do this thing seriously, we're gonna start our portfolio. So I ended up coming to New York Art Studio, and that's when I started. And it was from there that honestly, I felt like I started late, but I know like portfolio speaking, sophomore year is not bad. So my biggest piece of advice is start as early as you can. Do not leave 2 months, like the summer, before you apply to do your portfolio, because to be quite frank, unless you don't have the skills starting, it's not gonna come out good. You need to have your ideas grow and develop. You need to be able to like experiment, as I said in a question before. You need to give yourself the time to do all these things. So honestly speaking, in the first year, a lot of it was building up skills, because in the beginning, in the first year I was here, I worked a lot on illustration and stuff, and I submitted to Scholastics. But it was then the summer right before my senior year that I then had the base skills to start experimenting more. And it was from there that I really got the time to like find out other things, and it was fun. I liked it. So basically, I started my portfolio sophomore year. That was the year I was like, okay, I seriously want to do art school. I took a little bit of time convincing my parents, but that was the year that I got their consent and I ended up coming to New York Art Studio. And from there, I was kind of balancing my portfolio at school, because it's really hard to do your portfolio at the same time as school, because not only are you trying to use like one side of your brain to be like, oh, let's be creative here, but you're trying to use the other side to be like, let's memorize for a calculus test. So honestly, my biggest advice is, one, start early, but two, have like a schedule and time management. High schoolers tend to be very bad at this. I am very bad at this, so like, I don't feel like one to speak, but honestly, having a calendar and also having people around you to keep you on top of stuff, I feel like is really important. That's honestly the only way I got to finish my portfolio and end up ended up getting my scores in test grade. Because to be honest, like even though I started sophomore year, I was rushing my portfolio 2 weeks before my application deadline. So honestly, even 2 years, I don't feel like it's enough. So start as early as you can. Honestly, like the summer intensive program was such a fever dream for me. Like that's what I mean. Okay, so I feel like going to school and doing art at the same time, you're constantly like switching mindsets. It's very hard to focus on one thing at a time, and it's very obvious that school has to take priority more often than not. But during the summer, it was just all art, and I was like, I really liked it. Over the summer, I really learned a lot of things from a lot of my teachers. Like I had no idea you could like turn hard pastels into a powder and combine it with colored pencil. And also like a lot of the teachers forced me to actually understand like shape and how everyday things could be like broken into shapes. Like even like organic things like your thumb, you could like turn into multiple lines, kind of getting a really realistic render of something. So I really liked really going like all in with that. But I think like the summer intensive program was definitely really hard for me. Because as I said before, like I definitely experimented a lot more. That was the year that it wasn't just merely basic skill. I ended up leveling up to more so concept and like actually making this more personal to me. And when it comes to something like that, you start getting into a more subjective region where you're not really sure what's right or wrong, and it gets really hard by that point. So honestly, a lot of the teachers, especially Sue, the director here, really helped me with that. And honestly, I feel like I made some of my best pieces that summer. So to be honest, I first came here, the first motivation was definitely that it was cheaper. Is it like not, it's not penny cheap, but it was cheaper compared to other options that I saw around the city where it was like $50,000 a year. I unfortunately am not rich enough to pay college tuition per year on top of like my current high school tuition. So that's why I first came here. But honestly, after the first package of a few sessions, I really liked it here. Honestly, the people here are lovely. I love the admissions team, and I love just the people that come here. Because when you go to a school and you do all academics, it's really hard to find like art people, like not just art, but just people who like are into creating stuff. But everyone here, that's their full-time job. They love doing it. They live for it, and I honestly love being around these people. So that's what made me stay here. So I think one of my biggest pieces of advice is even if you're working on a portfolio, it's not an excuse to stop consuming art. Because I think the biggest thing that helps you grow throughout your portfolio and make your like stellar pieces your senior year is the consumption of art and continuously exploring, which I think is what really helped me. But at the same time, I know a lot of people say this, but do not compare your portfolio to other people. I am a horrible culprit of this. Because honestly, everyone is so different. I remember I was like sophomore year, I kept watching RISD portfolios, and I was like, wow, they're so cool, I'm never gonna make anything like this in my life. But it's not about, I mean, okay, quality is very important in your portfolio, but it's more about your voice. Because the thing is, you go to art school to learn, but the thing that they can't put inside of you is a voice. A voice is something unique that only you can have. So I think the biggest piece of advice is just explore your voice. Find stuff you like. Consume manga, anime, like noir movies, anything you want. But it's more about exploring this stuff and finding what you like.